And all of these little tiny droplets are all each reflecting Swami, that is the light of the sun. And if we were to look at all of this together, collectively, all of these tiny droplets are each now reflecting the glory of the sun. So here I find everyone here, even though we are all tiny droplets, each one is a tiny representation of the omnipresent God. What I am also inspired by is that everyone is so tuned to what Swami says, to see if Swami will be happy with our words, thoughts, and actions. We just saw a few minutes back the Bal Vikas program or the SSC program. We saw even children trying to implement Swami's teachings in the day-to-day problems at school, like bullying and so on. That is what inspires me. So we as the Sai Baba family are celebrating the 92nd birthday of Swami. Having stayed in Swami's college for a long time, I used to wonder many a time, and I have wondered even after that, what if I never came to Swami? What if I had gone elsewhere and not gone to Swami's college? Or let's say I didn't even know about Swami. And I thought about many scenarios. I could have been bad, I could have been good, I could have been great, I could have been a Purohit, I could have studied the Vedas, I could have done all sorts of things. I could have left Swami's college to go for engineering as well at some point. But what is it that I would have missed if I had, not been at Swami's college? What would I have missed? What is it that any of us would have missed if we never came to Swami? I tried to answer this question. I took a long time to see, okay, not this, not this, not this, not this. Ultimately, it came to one word, that is Brahmanandam. This is something that nobody in the world can give us. Your guru may give us a partial bit of Anandam, but Brahmanandam is only in the hands of God. So, when we keep saying sometimes, because Swami is not physically with us, we kind of say, oh, we got to move on, we got to go to the formless. That is all true. But when the form was there was an easy access to that Brahmanandam. Not only to the students, not only to the VIPs, not only to the people who have known of Swami. One day I was sitting in the Puttaparthi, sands, and one of the things I liked to do was this. As people went into the interview room, I would see their faces, watch their faces, and when they came out of the interview room, I would be waiting to see how their faces are, okay? Because you see the big difference. When they come out, there's something really bright. Their facial expressions are changed. It's not so much enlightenment, but they got something that nobody could give. So, I'm not talking of VIPs or people whom I have known. I was sitting in the sands, and Swami, it was a very busy week actually. I think it was just before Dasara. And typically Swami does not call too many people at that time for interview because Swami is very busy with organizational matters. So Swami had come through the darshan lines and on the sands, and then from the group there, he picked one man out. And who was he? He was a tall man, very slim, almost bones. There's not much flesh at all. Okay, dark skin. He had a turban on his head, and he had a long stick. Something like the chieftain of a village. Something like that. A village man, compared to what we wear pant and shirt, he was a villager. So Swami called him for interview. I was observing this. Okay. From the crowd, I don't know him, nobody else knows him, right? He goes for the interview. And he goes for the interview. After the interview is over, I'm keenly observing this, okay? Because this is in my mind. This is stuck in my mind, what I saw that day. He comes out of the interview room, nice big vibhuti mark on his forehead. But more than that, he had this, though dark skin by the way, there was this kind of like a jyoti, like effulgent face. And what did he do? After he came from the interview room, he didn't talk to anybody. He just went straight on the sands, went out of the compound and went away. So many leelas happen. Nobody is publicizing these. So many thousands of people have come. And Swami's leelas happen in different planes as well. We see one plane, that is a physical plane, while he is sitting in the physical plane in. So what I would do in this talk today is, I will break it into two halves. The first half of it, Swami in the physical form, the Brahmanandam in the physical form, and then Brahmanandam in the formless form. Okay, I'm saying formless form because that also you would see needed something really for it to happen, because there was some materials involved in this. So this will be our journey for today. So Swami gave this Brahmanandam to everyone. There was no difference. Thousands of people. Yeah, look here. A Pada Namaskar there. Sambhashana. Very, very easy access to Swami. All you had to do was come to Puttaparthi or Vrindavan or wherever Swami is and locate yourself there and enjoy the bliss that Swami gave. We call this as Sannidhi. Sannidhi means in the presence. So Sai Sannidhi. So how is it that Swami is able to give this kind of anandam to a large number of people all at the same time? As Swami himself has said, that this anandam comes, Brahmanandam comes, because there is absolutely no fear. It is not fearless. Fearless means that there is some fear, right? But absolute fear. That is when you get the anandam that Swami has. And where does that no fear state come? Where does it come from? It comes from being selfless. So selflessness actually leads to a condition of no fear. And when we have no fear at all, then we have anandam. Now, I'm going to go through a few stanzas from Brahmanandavali. But before I do that, I want to say a few things. Swami wanted to make. Let's take Dhyana Vahini for example, Dharma Vahini for example, Prashanti Vahini for example. All of these are books that have great value in them, great spiritual value in them. If Swami wanted, at a very early time, right, he could have built up this organization to be a very rich organization by simply selling these books at a very high rate, right? People would want it definitely. So you could have sold this book, for example, for 200 rupees or 300 rupees in the early days, and I would have bought it definitely. But believe it or not, I was surprised. Just a few days back, I was curious. Let me go and see what's happened to the price on these books. To date, the price of these books is staying in the 17 rupees and 20 rupees range. I have it here. Prema Vahini, it's still 20 rupees. Dhyana Vahini is still 16 rupees. Dharma Vahini and Prashanti Vahini are both 15 rupees. We were in the safe room in Vrindavan once. And as we were sitting there, just a few of us there, Sri V.K. Narasimhan came. V.K. Narasimhan was the editor of Sanatana Sarthi for a while. And also he was taking care of the printing of the Sanatana Sarthi and the publications department. So he sat in front of Swami. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to, even though you have access to Swami, he's sitting in front of you. He's God still, right? You've got to be careful about what you ask. So those who are close to him will be very careful in how they say and know how to present it. So he asked Swami, Swami, we have to increase the price on Sanatana Sarthi. Just 5 paise. Just 5 paise. What is 5 paise, right? 100 paise make 1 rupee, right? What is 1 rupee compared to $1? Okay. Swami, 5 paise we have to increase. Swami said, no. I was dumbfounded hearing this, right? So, no profit was made at all on any of these books, any of these publications. That is the state of selflessness. Swami never took even 1 single paisa extra than what was required for printing that. This shows that every little thing that happened in Swami's presence was controlled by that selflessness, by that desirelessness. There was absolutely no desire at all. So when we have that kind of selflessness, we develop a state of no fear. And when we go into the state of no fear, we get ananda. So let us look at the Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmanandavali. So to help me with this, I thought it would be nice if a few of us could join. Whoever in this audience can join, we can join. We have Ramesh, we have other Swaroop, and his dad. I think if you can join us, that would be great. And Kumar as well. Saishanandasya mimagumsa bhavati yuvasyat sadhu yuvadhyayakah ashishto dridishto tasyeyam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat saiko manusha anandaha. What we'll do is we'll take this up in bits. Saishanandasya mimagumsa bhavati. This is the essence, or this is the truth or philosophy behind Ananda. Yuvasyat sadhu yuvadhyayakah. A youth, young man or a woman, happy, healthy, and contented, and wants the wealth of all the earth, wants the wealth of all the earth, has properties, has pleasures and fortune. But at the same time, while having all of this, is also rooted in spiritual practice. We could call that as 1 unit of human ananda or human bliss. That is 1 unit of human bliss as said in the Vedas. Now, if you were to go beyond a human being, you go to the next level called as Gandharva, Manushya Gandharva. And the Veda says that the joy or the bliss you enjoy in that state is 100 times what you can enjoy as a human being. Okay, so we chant that now. Te yeshatam manushanandaham sayeko manushya gandharva namanandaha shrotriyasya cha kamagatasya te yeshatam manushya gandharva namanandaha sayeko deva gandharva namanandaha shrotriyasya cha kamagatasya te shatam deva gandharva namanandaham sayeka pitrinam chiraloka loka namanandaham shrotriyasya cha kamagatasya te shatam pitrinam chiraloka loka namanandaham sayeka ajananam deva namanandaham
च कामः तस्य ते शतमाजानजानां देवानामानन्दाः स एक कर्म देवानां देवानामानन्दः एक कर्मणा देव श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते शतं कर्म देवानां देवानामानन्दाः स एको देवानामानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते शतं देवानामानन्दाः स एक इन्द्रस्यानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते शतमिन्द्रस्य आनन्दः स एको बृहस्पतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते शतं बृहस्पतेरानन्दाः स एक प्रजापतेरानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य ते शतं प्रजापतेरानन्दाः स एको ब्रह्मणानन्दः श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य.
What you heard repeated, three sentence groups. So you got Manushya Gandharva, Deva Gandharva, it goes on Pitrinam, Charloka Lokanam Ananda. It will be difficult to go into the details of all of this. But one thing is this, every stage of that, the Ananda is multiplied by 100 times. And if you track this, there are 10 levels. By the time you come to Brahmananda, where we stopped. So start with Manushyananda and we come to Brahmananda, you got 1 followed by 20 zeros. Okay? In mathematics you would say 10 to the power of 20. A million is 10 to the power of 6. Okay? So it's 10 to the power of 20 times. This is the unit of measure that we have been given by the Vedas. That is the kind of intensity or the immensity of this Brahmanandam, and which Swami, being Brahmanandam himself, was giving to us. That explains why just a simple look, just a look at us was enough to actually sanctify our lives. Darshanam, Sparshanam, Sambhashanam, all of these were just enough. To one look was enough. I went back to Vrindavan after several years after being in the US, and it was in 2003, and I was sitting in the darshan lines. Sai, my son, was a small kid at that time. He was, this was 2003, so he was about, and we had applied for his admission to the primary school at Puttaparthi. There was a rule that they would not take anybody from abroad at that time. So I was up against a big hurdle, that there was no way that we could get him into the school. But I didn't give up. So somehow, I don't want to go into the details, there won't be time for it, but somehow I did get him registered for the examination. So when we were sitting in Vrindavan, so I had this hall ticket with me. I didn't intend to show it to Swami. So my son Sai was seated on my lap, and then because there's no space, and I had this hall ticket in my hand. And there's no hope. I was studying, I started to study, to go to college in 1977. I'm talking of 2003. You can imagine the crowds that had come by then, right? There was absolutely no access at all at the time in 2003. So Swami came by, there was no chance he would talk, right? But that day, Swami came. As I said, I didn't intend to show this thing. I had it sort of on the side. Swami looked at me like that and said, what is that? So I lifted it up. I said, the hall ticket. And he said, in Kannada, he said, Alli hogi kelu bangaru, he said. Alli hogi kelu bangaru. That means go to Puttaparthi, go and talk to them, and go talk to them bangaru, he said. Now, if you take just these words, okay, he's directing me to go to Puttaparthi, that is fine. As such, there's not much material there, right? Because just a common thing, like somebody is telling you, go there. But it was not just those words. After he said that, I could feel the intensity of love. It is not just the words, but the fact that you are in the presence of Him. And that is a wholesome experience. And I tell you, if only I was allowed, I would have simply shouted, Swami, thank you. I would have done that. That is how much my emotion was at that time. And finally, we did get Sai into the school, at primary school at Puttaparthi. So it is not just the words, not just the, but there's something more to the wholesome experience of this Brahmanandam. And what does the Vedas say about this? If you had heard this, it was repeating itself. There's one sentence that was repeating itself. Instead of going from stage to stage to stage, the 10 stages, at every one of these stages you can go back and look at this, even if you have not gotten it now, but you can go back and look. There is this sentence called as Shrotriyasya cha kamaha tasya. Shrotriyasya means one who is practicing the Vedas. It's very important. Shrotriyasya, who's practicing the Vedas, Chayasan, and then not kamaha tasya, akamaha tasya. That means one who has no desire. So, if you are practicing the Vedas, and the second condition is that if you can reduce your desires, you can go from Manushya to Manushya Gandharva to Devanakra. But at every stage, that Shrotriyasya kama tasya does not change. The levels change, but that requirement stays the same. Right? Swami is giving all of these teaching to us in very, very simple form. Swami says, sealing on desires. Right? Swami is asking us to practice the Vedas, learn the Vedas. You know how this movement has started, where all over the globe, it was amazing a few days back when we had the Veda conference. If you have not seen this, please go to Radio Sai and see. It was such a tremendous experience to hear those speeches. It is really tremendous to hear them. How is Swami sort of mobilizing all of this? So Vedas and then sealing on the sides. These are the two important things for us to get that Brahmanandam. As students, especially in the early days, we got one chance each day to have this Brahmanandam. It was not just for a few minutes, but for several hours. So Swami's chair would be there, he would come for bhajans, and it's a very small hall, and it is also the hall where great musicians are come and performed, sitting on the floor with us. Okay, be it M.S. Subbalakshmi, be it Bhimsen Joshi, lot of Shiv Sharma, all of these musicians, no stage or anything, just Swami's chair, and right around the chair we would all be sitting. There's absolutely no space around. And for hours we could sit and enjoy his presence. I got a little bit of a privilege. I got selected to be a Kanjira player, so which meant that I got a special pass. While others would have to wait for 2 hours or 3 hours to get in line to go in, bhajan boys would be called first, so you just cut the line and you go forward. But we got to be nice to others, right? That's important. So what we would do is that the bhajan boys will sit like 2 rows behind. So all those who have stood for such a long time, they get to be in the immediate presence of Swami. So we'll be the second or third line. But from the angle from which I could see Swami, right, I could see the side of Swami like that. So Swami's chair is. And sometimes we'll have Ramakatha Rasavahi, the Ramakatha program, right? And as they sing this Ramakatha, I used to love to see Swami's face. If those emotions were displayed on your face, I can still remember those emotions on Swami's face. You had to be there. You had to be Rama in order to know how Sita felt in the forest. It was so beautiful. Every time the Ramakatha was sung in front of Swami, many times, you could see on Swami's face, when the song says that Sita was in the forest, you could see Swami basically cringing, like that's like such a difficult situation that Sita was put into. And then as the song goes, the emotions follow. And at the very end, Ramana Ramanu, the whole thing will be like a joyous occasion and Rama comes back to Ayodhya. And Swami's face will brighten up like that. He'll be so happy that, And what that told me was this, that this was a genuine Ananda that Swami was giving us. Swami was absolutely genuine in whatever he did. I had a Brahmananda moment once, in a very, very different form. Okay, so most of you might think that, oh, Swami is all spirituality and, it's all spiritual Vedas and so on. But my plate was somewhat different from that, right? Because I was a physics student and I got into, research. So I was deeply involved in research. And, but one thing though, I used to listen to Swami's discourses very, very carefully. Like, I had a lot of interest in Swami's discourses. One day at the Purnachanda auditorium, right, Swami was giving a discourse. And what is he talking about? To me, if I heard it right, that was heterodyne telecommunication. Because Swami was talking in very common parlance. He was using the word Jyotir wave for electromagnetic wave. But if you followed all of that, believe it or not, go back to this school, if you followed all of that, that is what I learned in my electrical communication engineering book. So I remember very clearly this. After the discourse was over, I met some of my physics department people. I said, how many in that audience, the whole Purnachanda hall, about 20,000 people, how many would have known that Swami is actually telling us the theory of electrical communication engineering here? He was saying how, in order to get the sound wave back, you had to pretty much have a local oscillator, what's called as a phase lock loop. He didn't use those words though, but if you followed it carefully, that's what it was. I commented on this. I said that maybe 4 or 5, like me, would have known. So, there's so much value in what Swami is saying. This is one, this passed. Then came, later on, January 1987, I think. There was a Sadhu conference. You can see it in Sanatana Sadhu, all Akila Andhra Sadhu Parishad or something like that. And the chief Sadhu of this group was, his name was Bhumananda. There were discourses happening in the Purnachanda hall. And then suddenly what happened is that one day, one of those evenings or afternoon, Swami was visiting the institute. And whom did Swami bring along with him? He brought Bhumananda with him. He brought a sannyasi, absolute sannyasi, to show this is my college, okay, this is where all the studies are happening. And what happened was that in the parlance of US, it will be the second floor. Stairs, and he was coming towards the physics lab. No, not too many people on the corridor. We were sort of scattered. And I was standing there, and the Swami came. To be honest with you, I was a backbencher. I would never go to Swami and ask anything. Okay, I didn't want to be rejected. Okay, I would never go and ask Swami, do this or do this. I'll wait for Swami to say anything. If Swami says, then I'll be free to talk to him at that point. But I never ventured out myself too much. But then that day, what happened? This is what I call as the DKP algorithm. The DKP algorithm, as I figured out from Swami's discourses, is Desha Kala Paristhiti. Only if Desha Kala Paristhiti come together will an event happen. If one of them is not in the flowchart, yes or no. If one of them is a no, the event won't happen, bad or good. So this DKP algorithm has always worked for me. Even if I'm not at Darshan, I'm somewhere else, if I had to get Swami's grace, that somehow something will pull me, I will go there, I'll get selected for the drama. I would be indisciplined, I would not go on time, but if I needed to be there, I will get selected. I will be there somehow. What pushes me, I don't know. That day, something pushed me again from inside. So I ventured out, I sort of came forward a little bit. I said, I don't know how I said this. I told Swami, I want to show you my experiment. I want to show Swami my technical experiment. Okay. Not that I had anything big to show, but I wanted to show. Okay. Swami didn't say anything. Okay, when Swami didn't say anything, I said, that's it, forget it. Okay. Swami sometimes remarks, this thick hair around me, That's a filter. Only the Satya will go through. The Asatya will not go through. But that is true. That is absolutely true. I can tell you that. I have seen that while he jokes, most of all his jokes are actually real. Right? And so I thought that, okay, forget it. It's filtered right here. No chance. And I kept quiet. Swami went into the lab, and there were people following. You had the vice chancellor, the sannyasi, then Swami, a lot of people will come behind, the guests will come, and all of them. So in the physics lab, if you were to go sit there, you have a bigger hall outside, then there's an inner hall where the professors or the teachers sit, and the lab is behind. So you got to cross like 3 doors in order to get to the lab. With all this crowd, I stayed back. I stayed at the front door, because no hope. I told Swami, he didn't listen, rejected, fine, stand there. So I let everybody go. Swami was there for quite a while. And then Swami started to come out, and with him the crowd also started to come out. Forget it. He's already out of there. There is still no chance of Swami looking at my experiment. So I was at the 3rd door that was outside. And Swami came, and suddenly he looked at me. You said you were going to tell me something, show me something. Where is it? Whoa, shook me up. Swami, I'll show you now. So what happened is see how beautifully, how he arranges this DKP, Desha Kala Paristhiti, how he arranges all of these things, right? Now this whole crowd that came out, inertia, right? They didn't go inside. So the 3rd door inside, only Swami, only the Acharya, that is the Bhumananda, and myself were there. So here is a table where my experiment is set up. They're real experiments, laser experiments, by the way. Right? You'll be amazed as I tell you this. Okay? Why I call this my Brahmananda movement, right? One single, like 1 microsecond of Brahmananda, right? And I stood, so I'm here, Swami is beside me, and Bhumananda is beside Swami. So I'm standing, he's standing. Swami looked at me. So some few seconds or probably a minute passed. Swami said, Chapu, why you brought me here? Tell. So I started off. Once I got the trigger, right, I started off. I said, this is a helium-ion laser, it emits red light, then it comes out of the laser, there's a beam splitter there. Mind you, all of this I told Swami exactly as I'm saying this here. Because one thing I believed in very, very strongly, all through my research and all through my stay, was that there is nothing beyond him. It may look as though he doesn't know, but now you'll see how he knows. So this is exactly I'm telling. Freely I'm telling. Here's a laser beam. Okay, it comes out, hits the beam splitter, gets divided into, one of it gets injected into an optical fiber, and that is pasted on a piece of film. And when the piece of film now contracts and expands, the fiber gets pulled, it changes the phase of the light, and when these 2 fibers come together again, they are recombined on the beam splitter. And then I showed the fringe pattern that comes at the output of this. I stopped there. I said, enough. Adhika prasangi, right? No, don't go too far, right? Stop right there. Let me ask you here, how many here, not to how many of you can repeat what I said now? How many of you can repeat exactly what I said? It has to go this way, it has to go that way, it's got recombined there, and then here's a fringe pattern. Believe it or not, I talked to Swami, not to Bhumananda. But Bhumananda is beside Swami. Swami translated everything that I said in Telugu to Bhumananda. He's a sannyasi. Imagine this. Okay, to Swami, at least Swami knows everything, right? But that's Bhumananda is sannyasi, right? And Swami explained everything to him. And I was hearing everything carefully, like what Swami was telling. It was an exact repetition of what I said. One thing I can tell you this much. Swami divine, whatever, you can't understand that. But physically, Swami's senses were absolutely sharp. I tell you, if you hear something, he said exactly that. I can't believe how well he translated that. Okay, now comes my Brahmananda moment, right? So I stopped to the point where on this screen there's a fringe pattern, and I stopped there too much. There is another box, a black box that is opposite on the other side of the beam splitter. It's a black box painted by me, black. Okay. There is a photo detector resist inside that. So if I showed you that box and said, what's in the box? You'd say, well, I know, it's a black box. That's what you'd say. You wouldn't know that there's a photo detector inside there, right? Here was Swami explaining to Bhumananda. after I said fringe pattern, he said about this, it comes back, you think. Then Swami said, this box, I didn't tell. This box, that light is converted into electrical and it goes to computer. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. Okay. Immediately, right there, I got my, that moment, right? And I told Swami, in your discourses, you talk about, heterodyne communication. Remember the discourse that I told about? So I told Swami, in that discourse you told about heterodyne communication. That's what I'm doing here. That's the signal processing I'm doing here. In that moment where I said, Swami, in your discourse, what you said is what I'm doing here, in the processing here. Swami turned, Swami's right here. Swami turned towards me just like that. And he's looking at me directly like that, here. That one moment at that time, there's a range of, emotions. It could be that, hey, who are you? You're just a puny little guy. You're telling me, God, hey, I'm taking your discourse and putting it into practice, that too in a lab, This is what you're trying to tell me. Or it could be that, yeah, you got it. You got it. Because you are now saying that even though Swami has not got any schooling or education in the formal way, but he can understand all of this. That you had the faith that he can understand. There was no inhibition. I just opened up and told him. And at that moment, when he saw me, he looked at me and said, "Chase go." Right? So I had pardoned his car. And then he came out of the lab. So my PhD was done that day. Right? For me, I didn't have to worry about anything at all. For me, that's all I wanted in my life. Much later, I don't want to, because there's shortage of time, much later, much later, Swami did a lot of leelas and so on. And Swami assured me again a little bit later on. I was working at the Hanscom Air Force Base at that time. And Swami said this, I will stand with you and do your experiments along with you. And that I found to be true. We'll not go into the details because we don't have too much time. So Brahmanandam sort of given to all the people, whether you're a poor man, you're a rich man, you're a scientist, you're a laser scientist, whatever it is, Brahmanandam for all. Dvandvatitam. What is that? Dvandvatitam is beyond the pair of opposites or beyond, the stimuli. He doesn't react to stimuli. And therefore, he has an equipoise all the time. Swami used to talk about his childhood, how he was treated by his classmates. You can go back and listen to the discourse. Swami had only one pair of clothes. But Swami liked to be very clean as well. Even as a young boy, he wanted to be clean. So this one pair of clothes he had to wash so that he can wear it the next day, a clean clothes. Right? And Swami needed to also like this crease on his robe or on the dress that he wears. You can always see on Swami there'll be nice crease. This was nice spick and span. He needs to be. He always likes that. Because Swami says, so many devotees are looking at me. Right? He presents himself in a way that is pleasing to our eyes. So even as a young boy, he wanted his clothes to wear. And Swami describes this, how small little somber vessel, and then he put coal into that, and then he would patiently get his clothes ironed to wear it the next day. Swami also would say this, those classmates of his were jealous of him, and because of that, what happened was this, because they were jealous of Swami, they would push Swami down on the hot Chitravati sands, and they would drag him on the sands. And Swami said, you know my hair? It is with thick and curly. And Chitravati river has got a lot of shrubs, the banks have got shrubs. He said the thorns were very long, inch long. And these thorns would get into the hair of Swami, get entangled in the hair. And Swami said it would take an hour or two to remove these thorns, and it happened. Even though all of these things happened, he is beyond all of that. He is beyond all of that. He never ever went to hurt anybody. again with a pair of opposites now. So now I want to show you a picture. This picture is a bit close to my This was in the old Vrindavan days. You see the canopy of trees, 1974. I was part of a Bal Vikas unit that's called as Alsur Bal Vikas. Swami had a great amount of interaction with the Alsur Bal Vikas. Once in 1972, summer course time, when we were there for darshan, Swami called us inside to give us knickers and just clothes. And Swami asked, how many of you have come? And one of us said 102. Swami was so happy. 102 Bal Vikas children? He said, Jamai, Jamai. You're so happy. And he would come to our center, the Alsur center, almost like annually. And in one of those congregations, Swami took up the vibhuti that was in the Arati plate. He took that vibhuti and he just did like that. The whole hall, all of us were showered with vibhuti that day. So Swami had this very special connection with this Alsur Samiti or Alsur Bal Vikas. In fact, 3 of us who were at the Alsur Samiti went on to become PhD students in Swami's college later on. And so this Alsur Samiti had a close connection. We have also had proximity to Swami because we only had to take a train trip about an hour to reach Vrindavan, and then we could have a sitting like this, special sitting like this, right? All the crowd is behind. Of course, in those days, it was not. This photograph here is not special to me just because I'm there or my sisters are there in that, but you will see, if you had seen behind, there's a chair that's there. There's a wooden chair. So let's go to the next picture here. You see, this is a picture that I value a lot. Really, this to me, and all the time I compare this with another picture, I'll show you that as well. And that keeps me in equipoise. So what happened was that, I don't know if Swami asked for it or if somebody just offered it. So this chair is part of the student's classroom that is nearby. In those days, the classroom was nearby. And Swami was with us for almost like 15 minutes that day. We sang, and Swami is still standing there. Another guy sang, Swami is still there, right? For like 15 minutes, Swami is just in front of us standing. So Swami then sat on this chair. In fact, I tried to see if this chair was around later on when I joined Swami's college, but I couldn't find it. SSC C2, it says. Okay. Look at that. It's got no padding whatsoever. Just a simple college chair, which we all used to sit on, right? So the God, the Brahman, the one who can give Brahmanandam, the God of the universe, right, Sarva Devata Swarupam, has no problem sitting on that chair, a simple wooden chair. So I'll compare this with the other picture that we are all familiar with, right? So here's a golden chariot. But see, there's no difference at all between the Swami that you see on the right hand side and the Swami that you see on the left hand side. All the time blessing people. Dvandva Titam. He is beyond the pair of opposites. Another incident. In the olden days, what would happen is this. There should be a small little silver box. And in this small little silver box would be palm, basically betel leaves. Okay, and then there will be what do you call it, areca nut? And then small little betel leaves, very tender betel leaves, and there will be a stick there. You can take the limestone, put it on that. Swami is Krishna, right? So he used to take palm. And how does he take palm? He doesn't carry it with him, right? So we students would carry it in our hands. This is a chance for us. Swami himself will say, oh, chance for Pesava. That means, did you get a chance? Chance means that chance to be near him, chance to have Pada Namaskar, chance to show something, chance to get something, chance to take his footwear, chance to put his footwear back. All of these are chances. Okay, and Swami knew our parlance as well, how we used to talk in the hostel, right? So this was a chance that we used to get. I myself have had this great opportunity to show that. This is my turn, I would show the silver box. And Swami would take very patiently, so sometimes a small peanut he would have. This was a wonderful chance for us to have that interaction with Swami. So I joined in 1977, 1982, 5 years later, suddenly there was a bombshell. One evening, as we were sitting in Swami's presence, Swami said, I have to tell you all something. And he got a speech translated. He said, from today onwards, no pan. No pan from today onwards. To have this chance to go in. This is gone, completely erased, totally taken out. With Swami, it's once it's said, that's it, it's gone. Then of course, we're all like, really crestfallen. Swami explained what happened. That morning, Professor Gokak had brought a well-known Kannada poet by name Bendre to Swami. And so Swami gave them an interview, Bendre and Gokak an interview. Swami is sitting there, and Bendre and Gokak are sitting in front of Swami. And Bendre takes a bit of snuff. A lot of people take snuff, right? He does that, right? And he takes a snuff, and right in front of Swami, right? He just blows his nose. And then he takes his kerchief and starts to wipe it. And Swami sees that his kerchief is dirty, red with all that snuff thing, brown or red, whatever. And Swami is like, wow, physically, Swami is like, this is dirty. But then Swami said, just when the thought came to Swami that, that's dirty, Swami suddenly looked at himself. And what was that? When you eat this pan, right? You can sing the song, Adaram Maduram, it goes on, we don't have time, but, it describes how beautiful the form of Krishna is, right? It's beautiful form, especially when he takes a pan and the lips are red and the whole effulgent face, it's a sight for the gods to see. And Swami said that when I wipe my kerchief on my lips, isn't my kerchief stained too? With the red stain from the pan? Swami said, that's why I stopped. From that day, till Swami left us, left the physical form, he never put pan. That is what desirelessness is. Once you stop, that's it. You give up something, not out of frustration, not out of a disease or anything. You give it out of your own will. That is when it bears fruition. Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam. I want to sing a song here because it's a very powerful song. Tappu nodade bandeya ennaya tande. Tappu nodade bandeya. Appa Tiru Venkatesha Nirdoshane. Appa Tiru Venkatesha Nirdoshane. Tappu nodade bandeya ennaya tande. Apada mauli ennalu adabahalam. Shripati kadayam udadideyam. Tappu nodade bandeya ennaya tande. It's a long song, but I'll just cut it short here. Tappu nodade bandeya. That means, even though I have all of these faults or blemishes in me, you ignored all those faults and then came to me. He lost his brother-in-law mistreated him, wouldn't even give him a glass of buttermilk when it was a hot day. He got frustrated with life. He left his house and went out. And when he went out, he saw a bhajan group and they were singing songs on Venkateshwara. They were going on a trip to Tirupati. So he asked, can I join you on this trip? They took him along. He was an orphan. He said, I don't have money, I don't have anything. But the leader of the group said, come and join me. So he goes to Tirupati. And he falls in love with this form of Venkateshwara that he sees. The intensity of devotion builds up within him. So much so that wherever he goes, he wants now, that idol was not enough for him. The Venkateshwara idol, the Vigraham that was not, I want to see Venkateshwara in reality. I want him sakshat, I want to see. That was his burning desire. And one day what happens is that this intensity builds up, and then Venkateshwara actually appears in front of him. And then he pulls out his tongue, and on his tongue he writes Om, and then he says, from today onwards, you will be called Prasanna Venkata. This was to him. But that same night what happens is that Srinivasa, Venkateshwara, appears in the chief priest's dream. Not in Prasanna Venkata, but in the chief priest's dream, and he says, you know that guy who sings and who's loitering around there, at the shrine that you see, he's a very great devotee of mine. Today, I have shown him my Nijaswarupa. And what you need to do is this, I have already put, like our Swami, right? Venkateshwara Swami, all the same, 1680 or whatever, 2003, 2007, all the same, right? And Venkateshwara says to the chief priest, in the Garbhagruham, that is the Sannidhi, I have actually put a bag. Not the chief priest. God has put a bag, right? Not in physical form. Venkateshwara in the kal form, that's the stone form. I have put this bag there, and in that bag will be my idol, and then of the Sri Devi and Bhudevi, the idols will be there. You give it to him, and not only that, you have to give him a tambura as well. So the next day what happens is that Prasanna Venkata has this vision of Venkateshwara coming to him and saying this, but he didn't know what the chief priest had known as well. So next day there was a congregation, and the chief priest comes and tells that God, Venkateshwara himself came in my dream and said that he, Prasanna Venkata, has seen my form. And then, it is celebrated. So that Prasanna Venkata is the one who wrote this, and this has been sung in front of Swami by Bhimsen Joshi, by the way. It's a very, very nice song, very, very meaningful song. Tappu nodade bandaya. I used to wonder all the time, Swami, you are so pure. How do you tolerate an impure person like me? How do you tolerate? Don't you see I'm bad? But what does Swami do when he comes for darshan, right? He does not see us whether we are pure or not. He sees in us himself. And that is the reason why, right? He does not see our bad. He does not see, it's all gone. There's nothing in it. It's all too trivial for him, whether it's bad or good. What is important is that we make the connection to him. Vrindavan again, one evening, what happened was a very great singer, Bharata Ratna, and he came to Swami, and he is a very frequent visitor and also a very great devotee, a very, very great devotee of Swami. And we had the pleasure of listening to him many, many times. Many of the audience as well would have heard of him. And he came to Bangalore to give a program. And whenever they come to Bangalore, they'll come to Vrindavan because it's close by. So this great singer, one of the best singers in the world in the Hindustani music. So he was seated there. So the students gave him accompaniment and he started to sing. No mics or anything, he's just in front of Swami. He started to sing, and Swami would actually ask for songs, sing this song, sing that song. So Swami gave him a song and he started to sing. As he was singing, he could not go forward. His voice started to falter, okay? He was not at his best that day, okay? He's closing his eyes. You have Krishna in front of him, right? He's closing his eyes. And we are all we are all eyes open, we are looking at Swami. And what Swami did was this, while he was closing and struggling, a great singer like that was struggling to sing a song, a simple song. And Swami said, you know what this means? The guy has boozed, basically. He is drunk, right? He didn't know, he was closing his eyes. He was struggling. Then he couldn't go forward. Swami stopped and said, come. Swami took him to the interview room. Okay. And when he, as I said, I always love to see people who come out of the interview room, right? And when he came out, there was a nice, Swami had created vibhuti for him. He came back and Swami said, continue. His voice was back. Okay. He was all set. So, it is a love that corrects without condemning. It's a love that purifies without punishing. And it is a love that gives and forgives. It is an inclusive love that Swami has taught us. Next I'll come to Sarvadish Sakshi Bhutam. Swami would come now and then, or many times in fact, he will ask, where is God? Of course, your first answer would be, well, God is in the temple, right? Mandir. Then a smarter guy would say, Swami, I got to be smart here, right? Oh, man is in the heart, right? Swami should be pleased, right? Because he's Hridayanivasi, right? So Swami should be pleased. Not really. He would not be, very happy, not too very impressed. Yeah, true Hridayanivasi, but not too very pleased. Then he will again ask the question, no, where is God? Only when you said he is everywhere will you be pleased. Then, yes, that's the correct answer. God is everywhere. Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, that he is present in each one of us as a Sakshi or the witness, as the Atma. So I'm coming to this latter part, Brahmanandam through the Leelas. So I'll go to the next slide here. I'll take a minute to introduce this to you so that you know what Leelas I'm talking about here. In order to get an interview, you have to struggle very hard, right? There are so many people waiting. Swami has got limited time. It's may or may not get, and also this DKP stuff. Will somehow prompt you to go and search for it there. Trunk that you did not access for many years. Inside the trunk, the letter will be there. And then if you look at it, that will be an answer to what you are. And these will be rolled up sometimes, folded sometimes. And typically you will see, this is one of such letters. On the left-hand side is the actual letter. That's a copy of Do you know of anybody? What this mechanic does is that he says, I know a mechanic in Alsur, another part of the town. So these two mechanics come along one day to see the Luna. Mechanics, Unamanavan, right? The guy who's the handicapped, right? And how was he? This, I tell you, when I heard this, I was like amazed at what all can Swami do, right? This boy has one hand lifted up. I think it's the left one. Left hand cannot come down. It's up like that. His legs are bent. So when he's walking, he's like a three-legged animal like that. A three-leg, that means feet are on the ground. And his hand is lifted up. Okay, so these three people come in. And they say that, oh, well, we are happy that you're selling it for half the rate, so we would like to take it. So this father, I'll say father, mother, and the whole thing developed. He's a disciplinary guy, like, he can't tolerate any nonsense. So he looks at, what do you mean? You're going to pay? You don't look like somebody who can pay 7,500 rupees, right? So where's the money? Show me the money, right? So he says, who's it for? And they say, no, it is for this boy, the handicapped guy. The father is like totally angry that they're taking him for a ride. I mean, he said this guy who's got is like supporting himself on three limbs and one limb lifted. He's going to ride a Luna, which is a two-wheeler bicycle kind of thing, two-wheeler motorcycle. How's he going to do? He couldn't believe that. He thought that these guys were trying to fool him. So they said that if really it is for him, then if you can pay the money, then ask his father to come. His father is not a mechanic, not one of those two. So they called up his father, this handicapped boy's father, and he was nearby and he comes by. What happens is this. When the father comes into the house, as I said, a lot of leelas in this house, there's Swami's photo, there's Vibhuti and everything. The father sees this picture of Swami and he said, oh, Sai Ram. And this man, the father, not of the boy, the father of the lady who is pregnant, he has great respect for Swami. Until now he doubted them. He was almost angry, he would have thrown them out of the house. Okay, he thought that they were going to cheat. As soon as he heard Sai Ram, he melted. The power of Swami, right? As soon as he heard Sai Ram, oh, you're Swami's devotee. Oh, I'm so sorry. Then the conversation followed. Then the father said that, oh, I knew Swami for 20 years. The father of the handicapped boy. He said, I knew Swami for 20 years. Okay, Swami writes in this letter, right? What does he say? Naan avanukku nariya udavi pannirukken. I have done a lot of help to him. Here is story, right? Yeah, his son is handicapped, that is true. But he was the first technician who gave the telephone connection to Swami in Vrindavan. First person, technician, to give telephone connection to Swami in Vrindavan. See how Swami remembers. So many decades later. We are talking of 2000 when this letter was written. And not only that, he says, Swami also gave me his car, old car. He got Swami's car as well, but most of the car is gone. He says, I have only retained the seat on which Swami sat. That is there. So the seat is remaining, everything else is gone. Right? And then he tells something. I'm amazed that you're giving this for half a rate. Today my son is extremely happy because he has been wanting a vehicle for himself. He didn't want to ride someone else's vehicle. My son wanted to ride his own vehicle and see the happiness on my son's face that he's getting this vehicle all for himself. Okay, so the handicapped boy is going to ride this scooter, Luna scooter. Unbelievable, right? And here's another problem. That Luna in those days did not have auto start, by the way. It was a kickstart. Here is where they all got confounded. These daughters in the house are all exchanging glance. How is this guy going to kickstart this Luna? If at all it starts, okay, that's another matter, right? If at all, how is it going to do it? Swami told, then it struck them, oh, this is the boy that Swami had told. They gave the Vibhuti packet and the photo as Swami had said. But see here, I want to tell something else here. a little later. I'll finish this in a minute. So the father said, thank you for everything, and then they went away. Problem was this: there was only one key, but usually you have two keys for the Luna. You have to give two keys. So this lady said that come back tomorrow, and I'll give you the second key. Now he took the first key, they took the Luna, okay. Next day, this boy is coming along with others, and very quickly comes into the house, right, and gathers the second key. And then these people are like stunned. He goes to the Luna, right, he climbs up the Luna, sits on it, drives away. Right? How did this happen? Right? How do you explain Swami writing a letter that he will come, you give him for this much amount, but I want to stress one important thing here. They did not have instructions from Swami that they should share any of this information at that point of time. So they did not tell the father that Swami wrote a letter, and that's why we are giving you this. That boy doesn't know to date that Swami had actually got the amount reduced to suit his needs, right? I want you to take away this from here. Take this with you, right? We don't know when Swami is acting through whom to help us. Don't dismiss it off as though it is a human being doing it. If you believe strongly that Swami is acting through everybody else, if you really believe strongly that we are all like seeds, we have the seed of Swami in us, right? Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam, right? If you truly believe, we have to respect everybody. Now imagine, we are now looking at this incident, but that boy, that father, did not know what Swami had actually done, how Swami had made all of this happen. We never know who in this world, whom we interact with, is acting on Swami's prompting, whether it be physical or non-physical. So that is why Swami says, love all, love all. So what I'll do is this, because we are close to time, so I'll skip some of the other letters I had in mind. Sorry for that. But I'll just, instead of showing the letters, I'll just talk about one incident. So this lady was cooking in the kitchen, and she was doing vendaka. Vendaka is basically okra, right? She is doing a karnal. This is curry, right? And because leelas were happening in this house, you had to be on time. It's like a temple. You got to be on time. You got to go and do it on time. So the father called. The daughter ran left the stove there. Didn't close the vessel, that vana, the sauce pan, for example, and she ran to the bhajan hall. When she went to the bhajan thing, she heard some sound, like some clang sound. She's like, who's that around? So after the arati was over, she comes back. She knows very, very carefully, she has seen what's going on. She did not have the lid on that vessel. When she comes back, the lid is on top of that. Okay? There's a lid on top of this vessel and the spoon has been displaced. Okay. Right then, a letter falls. Okay? Right then, just immediately. Now, you imagine all this, right? How all of these things can happen, right? A letter falls. And Swami says something confirming what she saw. So she's curious now. What is this plate on top? She opens the plate and tastes it, and there is salt in it. She had forgotten to put salt because she was called for the bhajan, right? For the arati. She left everything, did not put salt, she went away. When she came back, this clang here, there's this lid on top, you taste it, it's got salt. Now you would say, okay, that is your impression, right? Human understanding of what would have happened may be true, may not be true. What did the letter say? Jayashri, nee uppu poda marandu vittai. You forgot to put salt in the okra. Now why is this important? Because the dad, right, that father, he's a strict disciplinarian. If you didn't give him the right amount of salt, you had it that day, you will have all these curses, right? You got to be very careful. So நீ உப்பு போட மறந்து விட்டாய், நான் போட்டு விட்டேன். Okay, I put it, right? The lid is closed, job done. All this in the time frame of 1999-2000, where Swami is sitting in Prashantinalayam, Swami is sitting in Vrindavan, or Swami is traveling somewhere. Right? Brahmanandam in your formless. Why do I say formless form still? How did the salt come there? Right? How did the Panchamritam come there? You would be amazed. You would be doing bhajans, and then suddenly there'll be a rattle in the kitchen. If you go there, there's a vessel now filled with Panchamritam. Where did the fruits come from? There's no food in the house. Come on, it's India. We don't have fruits all the time, right? Where did the fruits come? Where did the jaggery come from? Where did the honey come from? Right? But Panchamritam is made, and you could partake of that. Amazing levels at which Swami works. So, how do we enjoy the Sai Sannidhi? Either we have to be in his presence, or we have to pull him into our presence. Right? We've got to get him in. Right? We've got to seat him in our hearts and enjoy the Sai Sannidhi. There are only two things we need to remember. One day in the discourse, Swami said something very trivial. All you need to do in this world is this. Devudu unnadu. I said, like, what? That's trivial. Don't we accept God? We already know God is there. What is new about this discourse? Devudu unnadu. It was a Guru Purnima discourse. But it stuck in my head. Devudu unnadu. God exists. That's all we needed. If you believe in that, now you can go. All sorts of, you can sort of expand that. But what we need to understand, Devudu unnadu. The second thing is that God loves all of us. Nobody is excluded. This is an all-inclusive love. Everybody is part of this love. Anyone who wants to access this love can have this love. So I'm going to conclude with another song, very simple song. You're going to see what all I skipped here. I'll go to some other day. If any of you know the song, please join. We can all sing together. Sadayanna hridayadalli vasamado Shri Hari. Nadamurti ninna pada modadinda bhajisuve Sadayanna hridayadalli vasamado Shri Hari. I've given the English meanings on that side for who is interested. Bhakti Vembo Navaratnada Mantapada Madhyadalli Ganalolane Kullirisi Venulolane Kullirisi Dhyanadinda Bhajisuve Sadayanna Hridayadalli Vasamado Shri Hari. Jnanavambo Muttu Manikyada Harivanadi Mukta Muktanaagabeku ಎಂದು ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಆರತಿ ಎತ್ತುವೆ ಸದಾಯನ್ನ ಹೃದಯದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡೋ ಶ್ರೀ The sentence is very interesting, the next one. ನಿನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬಿಡುವನಲ್ಲ, ಎನ್ನ ನೀನು ಬಿಡಲು ಸಲ್ಲ. ನಿನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬಿಡುವನಲ್ಲ, I will never leave you, Sai. ಎನ್ನ ನೀನು ಬಿಡಲು ಸಲ್ಲ. Neither can you, because you're bound by this love. You cannot leave me either. When I don't leave you, you can't leave me, right? Because we're co-located. If I can't leave you, then we are there together. Sai Sannidhi, right? Be that much nearer to him, or close to him, or far away from him, as we think we are. ನಿನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬಿಡುವನಲ್ಲ. ವಿಜಯ ವಿಠಲಂ ಕೇಳೋ ನಿನ್ನ ಭಕ್ತರ ಸೊಲ್ಲಂ. ಸದಾಯನ್ನ ಹೃದಯದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಮಾಡೋ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ. ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ ಶ್ರೀಹರಿ. ಜೈ ಸಾಯಿ.
Sayang. Sayang everyone. Welcome back. Everyone enjoyed the lunch. Let's give a big round of applause for all the volunteers who prepared and helped serve the delicious lunch. So, moving on to our afternoon program, our devotion program. So, on this auspicious birthday of our dear Lord, our Lord of Peace, Swami, we're very privileged to have a special group of adults, young adults, and SSC children who've all come together. They've been practicing for many months on a special offering called Garland of Peace. This program is a prayer for harmony, unity, and peace in all the worlds, for all the beings. Through this musical program, we'll all be taken on a journey to realize the divine reservoir of peace that we all have within us. So please sit back, join in, and enjoy this wonderful program. Sayang.
To our beloved Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Swami tells us that cultivating peace, one of the 5 human values, is essential to understanding our true nature and the very core of our being. The realization of peace is a journey, one that begins with transforming ourselves from within and spreading peace to all beings. On this day of Bhagavan's birthday, we invite you all to embark on this journey with us as we offer a garland of peace to our dear Swami.
Take a moment to close your eyes and allow yourself to settle into your internal world. Take a moment to connect to your breath. Allow yourself to gently breathe in and out. As you breathe in, feel the calm within you. And as you breathe out, notice any tension leaving you. Visualize a ball of white light sitting in the midst of your heart. This is the peace within you. Focus on this light and allow it to grow brighter and larger. Let your heart be enveloped in peace and compassion. Let's breathe deeply into this peaceful moment. Let it spread to our arms, our hands, peaceful deeds. To our legs and feet, so we may always walk in peace. Take the light to our forehead so that we may always have peaceful thoughts. To our eyes so that we may always visualize peace. To our ears so we may always listen for peace. And to our tongue so that we may always speak peacefully. Finally, spread this light of peace to everyone in the world and small, surrounding you and growing bigger and greater, and spreading throughout the universe. Whenever you are ready, please open your eyes and join us in our musical journey of peace. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Karvavahai
There are only pieces, not peace. You can then experience true and eternal peace. Who's our friend, Guru. We realize that the path to developing inner peace isn't always easy. We experience noise within us and all around us. We know that the world is diverse in our ideas and personalities, faith and race, culture and tradition. Yet though we seek to find our similarities, they seem to be masked by our differences, arising disparities, conflicts, and unrest. In such moments, who better can we turn to than God? Swami says, when one sees the world with red glasses, the whole world with glasses, it looks blue. The next song, two cultures, languages, musical genres, and faiths. It reminds us that the light within us is the unique source from which all creation emanates. We are one, indivisible in our unity and without parallel. Peace is a shoreless ocean. This ocean, how big, how blue, how beautiful. May peace be our guiding light as we remain resilient amidst conflict and unrest within and around us.
Allahu
Allah, Allahu, Allahu, Allah, Allahu, Allahu, Allah, Allah, Allah. As we foster the calm within, it is only natural that the ego and desires start to interfere. We say, I want peace, but Swami explains this to us so simply. I want peace. I is the ego, want is desire. Remove ego and desire and you have peace. He tells us that the path to peace is letting go of desires and expectations by focusing on surrender. May peace be our guiding light as we give up our desires on the path to peace. The next Telugu song, in prayer to Sri Venkateshwara, is a reminder to detach ourselves from the fruit of our actions and offer everything to God, to understand the true meaning of life. So now that we've created a space for peace in our lives, how can we be of comfort and care to others? Swami challenges us by asking, how can you be happy when your neighbor is in misery? Therefore, I call upon you to give up praying for your own advancement. Pray for the peace, prosperity, and happiness of all humanity, irrespective of clime or color. May peace be our guiding light as we work to spread comfort and loving care to all beings. This next offering begins with the Buddha's chant to pray that all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. It's followed by a popular English chant that encourages us to be like a bridge over troubled waters and extend comfort to our fellow brothers and sisters. We dedicate this song to our brothers and sisters who have been affected by natural disasters and conflict all over the world.
Samya
serve the world and go about our daily lives, there are times when the mind causes us to lose focus, and we may grow weary. Swami, you have reminded us that in the innermost recess of our hearts, there is a reservoir of peace where we must take refuge. We offer another multi-faith flower to this garland of peace, a fusion of Spanish, Urdu, and Hindi pieces. As we pray to our highest selves within, may the Spirit of God fill our lives, our souls, our beings. May peace be our guiding light as we reconnect to our own inner reservoir of peace.
Espíritu de Dios, llena mi vida, llena mi alma, llena mi ser. Espíritu de Dios, llena mi vida, llena mi alma, llena mi ser. Espíritu de Dios,
like a flame of a candle. It does not diminish as it is given to others. Our side reminds us of this source of peace, which is our true self. My goal is to remind you that your real nature is peace, equity, and non-attachment. One such example is Lord Rama and the devotion of Lord Hanuman to him. Our next offering is an expression of this devotion. As we strive to maintain equanimity through the ups and downs of life, may peace be our guiding light as we turn to God to keep our flame of peace ever burning stronger.
राम नील मेघ श्यामा कोदंड रामा राम नील मेघ श्यामा कोदंड रामा रघुकुला शोभा हरन भामा सार्वभौमा राम नील मेघ श्यामा कोदंड रामा रघुकुला शोभा हरन भामा सार्वभौमा नील मेघ श्यामा रघु राम 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 रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघु राम 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 रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम तंत्र गुरु नीले तोडु नीले तंत्र गुरु नीले तोडु नीले सरल जल पालन చేసే పరం జ్యోతి దాగుడు చాలు రామయ్య దాసులను ప్రోవక రామయ్య దాగుడు చాలు రామయ్య దాసులను ప్రోవక రామయ్య తెలియతరమా అనుత వశమా నీరు మహిమా రామ రామ నీల మేఘ శ్యామ కోదండ రామ మధులాని శోభా పరంధామ సార్వభౌమా నీల మేఘ శ్యామ रघु राम 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 रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघु राम 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 रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम नाटी नैन नाटी जैसे नी दिव्य भावो नाटी नैन नाटी जैसे नी दिव्य भावो कोटि नैन ज्ञानी जैसे राघव राम नील मेघ श्यामा कोदंड रामा रघुकुला शोभा परंधामा सार्वभौमा नील मेघ राम राम रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघु राम 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 जय राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघु राम 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 रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम रघु राम 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 रघु राम जय राम 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 जय राम
Peace is essential for joy in life. Though peace is one's very own nature, anger and greed succeed in suppressing it. When they are removed, peace shines with its own effulgence. That the spirit that emerges through each of us as we develop inner peace and share it to all beings results in a joy like no other. May peace be our guiding light as we rejoice in the knowledge that no matter what happens, if we have that Lord within, everything will be just all right. With our concluding offering, let us celebrate the day of Swami's birthday and cherish this feeling of happiness we feel inside as we remember our true nature and see beauty in the world. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to explore and express our inner peace.
మానవులకు శాంతికి మించిన తపస్సు మరొకటి లేదు.
For mankind, there is no higher penance other than peace.
తపస్సు 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 అనగా ఏమిటి?
We speak of penance. What's meant by that?
భయంకరమైన అరణ్యంలో ప్రవేశించి ఆకులరువులు తిని నిద్రాహారములు మాని స్మరించటము తపస్సు కాదు.
It's not penance if you get into a thick forest and are taking the leaves and the tubers over there.
నిజమైన తపస్సు శాంతియే తపస్సు.
The true penance is peace.
శాంతి అనగా ఏమిటి?
What is meant by peace?
దుష్ట భావములు మానవుని యందు ఉండినంత వరకు ఇది దుఃఖములకు హేతువవుతుంది.
So long there are wicked thoughts in man, he will be miserable.
దుష్ట సంకల్పముల చేత దుఃఖితుడగు, దుష్ట సంకల్పముల చేత దుఃఖితుడగు, సత్య సంకల్పముల చేత సాధువగును. సకల సంకల్ప రహితుడే శాంతి పొందు, సకల సంకల్ప రహితుడే శాంతి పొందు. ఇంతకన్నాను వేరెద్ది ఎరుగపరతు సాధు సద్గుణ గణ్యులవు సభ్యులారా, సాధు సద్గుణ గణ్యులవు సభ్యులారా.
Because of wicked thoughts, one would be in misery. Because of the thoughts of truth, one will be pious. The one who transcends the realm of thought and the mind, he will remain in peace. What else is to be conveyed to this assembly of noble people?
ఈనాటి మానవుడు తృష్ణ చేతనే దుఃఖములకు గురి అవుతున్నాడు. వాంఛలే మానవుని దుఃఖములో ముంచుతున్నది.
Man is sad and is in misery because of desires.
ఈ యొక్క వాంఛలకు కూడా ఒక పరిమితం ఉన్నది.
Even desires should be under certain limits.
ఈ వాంఛలు సర్వకర్మలకును భగవత్ప్రీత్యార్థంగా చేసినప్పుడు ఇట్టి వాంఛలే వాంఛారహితంగా మారుతాయి.
When once all actions are dedicated to God, the very desire will transcend the realm of thought.
కనుక మానవుడు సంకల్పరహితుడైనప్పుడే శాంతిని పొందగలడు.
Therefore, when man goes beyond the desire, he will be in peace.
కనుకనే శాంతి తుల్యం తపో నాస్తి. శాంతముల కంటే తపస్సు మరొకటి లేదు.
Therefore, there is no other penance other than peace.
న సంతోషం పరం సుఖం. సంతోషముల కంటే మరొకటి సుఖం లేదు ఈ జగత్తులో.
There is no other comfort other than happiness in this world.
కనుక సంతోషం కావాలనుకున్నప్పుడు శాంతిని పొందాలి.
In order to be happy, one must be in peace.
ఈ సృష్టి యందు మనకు కనిపించేటువంటి అనేకత్వమైనటువంటి యొక్క రూపనామములు ఏకత్వం యొక్క ప్రతిబింబములు.
In this apparent physical world, the multiplicity, the variety of names and forms we find are the very reflection of the
ఈ
unity.
అనేకత్వం అనేటువంటిది ఏకత్వం యొక్క అభివ్యక్తమే.
It is unity that manifests into diversity.
It is a happy day for the world. It's a day of joy for us all. Come sing with us, come dance with us. Day for the world. It's a day of joy for us all. Come sing with us, come dance with us. It's a birthday of our Lord. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sai. Birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sai. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sai. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sai. Bhagavan, thank you for being with us. Bhagavan, thank you for sharing your love. Bhagavan, thank you for guiding us. Bhagavan, thank you for showing the way. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sai. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sai. Happy birthday to you.
you a happy birthday.
It's a happy, happy, happy day. It's a holy, holy, holy day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Listen to the angels singing in the sky. Listen to the ocean waves dancing with joy. Listen to the birds singing in the trees. All of them singing happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. It's a happy, happy, happy day. It's a holy, holy, holy day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Listen to the angels singing in the sky. Listen to the ocean waves dancing with joy. Listen to the birds singing in the trees. All of them singing happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy birthday, Sai Baba. Happy, happy, happy day. It's a holy, holy, holy day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day.
मुदित मन से कहो राम 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 श्री राम 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 मुदित मन से कहो राम 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 श्री राम राम राम
जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक हरि महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतीका आश्रित कल्पलतीका आपदार्णवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेव मुखयन्तयुरीवे स्वामी भरियन्तयुरीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्र शरणं ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूपाय श्री साई महादेव सत्य साई महादेव मंगलारति मंगलारति
इमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थइष्टार्थमोक्षप्रदानं बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि लीला विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि Synchronous, miraculous, Baba's creation, flowing from His blessed hands, holy creation, granting us the greatest wealth, God's divine Baba, grant us liberation. Baba vibhutim paramam vichitram leela vibhutim paramartha ishtartham mokshapradaram Baba vibhutim idama leela vibhutim idamashayami.
Salam everybody. Our most humble gratitude to Swami for giving us this opportunity to sing His glory, and we cannot be more thankful on this Thanksgiving Day for this opportunity to sing His glory on His birthday. With that, it concludes this auspicious day, and we would like to thank the devotional group which sang such a nice pearl of devotions. From different centers, different places, but they all come. Very nice actually. And then we would like to thank our speaker, Dr. Sudarshanam, for giving us such a insightful and last but not the least, to our children who performed such a wonderful play. Coming and on this Thanksgiving Day, and that concludes this our program, this birthday program. And there is prasadam out. There is a fruit prasadam outside. Please take one and enjoy the day. Thank you very much. Sai Ram.
ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्य तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्
Enggak, Noy, telepon sama orang. Kenapa?